Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode in my new Minecraft Let's Play world. We are starting in kind of a weird spot. Ooh, I think we're going to build over there here in a minute. But we're starting in a little bit of a weird spot here in the middle of a jungle, but we're going to go ahead and make some quick use of some of this space, see if we can get a little bit of wood while I'm on my way down. Hopefully a sapling or two. There we go. Some bamboo from over there, too. And get out of here before that forest fire catches up to us. That's great. Love a good forest fire at spawn. Anyways, I know that nobody's terribly interested anymore in the first night of a new survival Minecraft world, but we're gonna go ahead and try and rush through this and get at least a little starter home started for the day. Gotta say, all things considered, I don't mind this spawn. I'm not going to pretend like I haven't looked around a little bit in this world. I spawned in a bunch of different seeds, kind of looking just for something that would have several wood types kind of close to spawn. Ended up finding this seed, which has, I think, pretty much every overworld wood within about 1,000 blocks of spawn, which is pretty good. Yeah, that's a forest fire. I could try and go put that out, but that's not worth the struggle right now. So we're just gonna get out of here. See if we can't find maybe one or two more saplings on our way. Already, though, immediately, just within a couple seconds here of spawn, we've got 3 wood types accessible. Since we now have oak, jungle, and bamboo. And I'm pretty sure there's birch over this next hill over here. But I didn't really spend a lot of time scouting out where to build. I think that's going to be the place to be. I just kind of flew around before seeing what wood types were going to be available. If I remember right, I think spruce is out that direction, as is dark oak, and I think there's some acacia that way? Though I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it's bordering the jungle, though. So, gonna have a little bit of running around the first couple days, just to get starter house built. I did kind of find a place that would be nice to build. A little bit of a forever home situation. There's a cool little... Might have to come back to that. There's a cool little mountain valley that is surrounded, ringed in by Pale Garden. That's what it's called. So I think right here, though, this nice little flat area, we can start a little, you know, like a village build. Build in a nice, you know, stone quarry over here, lead that into the mine entrance. Kind of have a lighthouse off on one of these little outcroppings. Maybe have a lighthouse over there, actually, if the forest fire doesn't take it down. We'll see as the next couple days progress. We got more jungle over there. There were a couple specific things I was looking for in a world spawn. One of them was that I wanted to have an ocean monument within a, you know, 2,000 by 2,000 radius so that I could get a guardian farm going, because I like to suffer. I'm just walking around looking around. I should really get busy on day one Minecraft business. As a very silly rule of thumb in Minecraft, I don't eat bread because in real life I can't. At least not wheat bread. Because I've got celiac disease, so it's an unnecessary rule that I apply to myself. So I've got to get some farming going so that I can breed animals and get food up and running. But we're right next to the ocean, so fishing is also an option. We have plenty of access to food and resources. So I'm not going to bore you too much with first day activities. I just wanted to kind of hop in and get the lay of the land going. I'm going to get a little bit of stuff done off camera, kind of chop down some of these trees, collect a bit of birch, get some saplings growing and some bamboo. And then we'll come back when I'm ready to start working on Starter House. You know, would have been really nice if I had seen this little lava pocket sooner, but it shouldn't spread too far, right? I don't think that it can spread up to that tree, so I think once this is done burning, it'll be fine. But I know where we're getting lava when we want to make a nether portal. Actually, for furnace fuel, too. Anyways, I cleared out a little bit of space. I got some trees cut down. I'm kind of working on getting some tree farming space ready. But for tonight, I think we're going to end up sleeping underground. Not like they're underground. That's terrifying. Maybe they're underground. We're going to start a little quarry space. We can kinda... Yeah, here we go. Let's just do this real quick. Grab our workbench. It's incredibly dark, which is incredibly useful for everyone but me. I know that this is hashtag good content. Wrong. Also, I know that it's not at all entertaining that I just said hashtag good content. There we go. Okay. We got a little bit more space. We'll get some tree farms going. I'm not going to make you guys sit and watch me just dig through the first boring night. But we'll be back soon. Alright, back at it here. I've just gotten through a couple of days worth, a little bit of grindy stuff. I gathered some more wood. I got a little tree farm going here. So we've got oak trees and birch trees running here, interspaced with flowers between, so we can hopefully get some bees on the run here. Because if I can get bees going and get honey production up, that opens up some extra blocks for the block palette. Bamboo just kind of in a line here. And I've started flattening out this little area here. I think that we're going to be able to build a house with a bit of an interesting shape here. So I'm going to keep filling in some space, getting some pillars up, kind of block out what this house might look like, and bring you guys back in when we're ready to start getting this thing together. So that's where we're at so far. Also, no more wildfires. The one over there stopped. The one over here on these hills stopped. So maybe we'll have a little bit of peace. And then once we get a starter house, we'll be able to start exploring out for some more wood types, because I'd really like to get my hands on dark oak, spruce, and ideally pale oak too, which I know there's quite a few places over towards some mountains that general direction, I think, where we can find that. And then I think also that same direction is cherry wood, so we're going to be doing a lot of exploration in that general direction soon, but we need to have a place to lay our head that isn't our current hole in the ground, so I'll show you that setup too. Just a little jungle door. We got a chest where we've got some stone from our little tunnel down here. We've got a bed, and that's about it. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to stay here any longer than need be. This is gonna become a proper mine entrance at some point. We're gonna set up a proper quarry dig site in this area. And I think there's a little cliff out here that kind of juts out, a kind of separate peninsula that would be great to drop a little lighthouse on. Like right up there. You know, water kind of comes in, intersects this cave. We can build something interesting in there, but I think a lighthouse there, kind of warning ships on their way in. We've got a huge expanse of warm ocean out here. I think somewhere out that general direction, there's some coral reef. Quite a bit of interesting stuff relatively close by. So we've got a solid start to a world here. And I think once I can get the starter house going here, it's just gonna kind of avalanche from there. I've got to find a villager, I got to find a village, get some villagers, so that we can start getting some, you know, technical stuff going, iron farm, because who wants to have to mine for iron? Villager breeder, and, you know, a trading hall, get mending books online. So, there's a lot to do, but I think that we are off to the right start. So I'll bring you guys back in once I've got some framework done for the house. All right. It's not looking like much yet, but we have a base layer down at least. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through at some point. I'm going to bring out some of my andesite. I'm going to make some smooth stone and some stone bricks, and I'm going to vary up these walls to get some texture and interest here. And then we're going to build another layer above this with wood walls, and then we're going to put a roof over that, which is going to give us like an attic third floor section. I think the walls on the second layer are going to be oak, and then the top will probably do birch, just to have it kind of gradient gray to, you know, a lighter brown to a darker brown to a lighter brown. I think that'll look decent. And then we're going to do a slightly curved, almost more medieval style roof. It's going to be an interestingly shaped roof. I'll show you why here in a minute, but for now, we're going to sleep for the last time in our little cave here, because sweet dreams are made of these. We're going to grab this and bring it with us. In the jungle, I found brown sheep, thus we got a brown bed. We'll fix that later, too. Figured I would have downstairs entrance be here in this kind of midsection, just because it's going to be kind of a side entrance anyways. Oop, I gotta fill that in. Actually, while I'm thinking about it, I'm just going to do it. There we go. Slightly different curve to that. Let's just save myself some future annoyance here. Something like that. There we go. Okay. Bring this with us. This is mostly just wood storage and kind of dumping my pockets as I go here. Sweet dreams are made of these. Might have to cut that. Don't want to do that. Alright. So we've got a little section coming off this way. Our main kind of off square section here. I didn't want to do something super symmetrical, so we're kind of breaking things up a little bit here. Should actually probably pillar down there. And then I gave a little offshoot on the back here where I can fit in kind of a tower situation, just stairs going up to each floor without having to kind of find space in the regular floor space. I may stop this section at this level and use it as a balcony and then just carry on the roof like normal. Just to kind of give a little balcony space. I think that the front entrance is going to be an upstairs entrance off this side facing the tree farm. Though, don't quote me on that because I'm not certain yet. So we wanted to bring this in here. We're just going to plunk it there for now. And then I'm out of cobblestone. Too bad I don't know anywhere I can get more of that. Do I have more in here? I don't, but I will bring andesite with me. I don't have a lot yet, but I have no idea where I could possibly find more. Or diorite, or granite. The ites. And I've been digging it out this way so that when I go through and put in stairs later, so I don't have to do this. It's just a little bit easier and cleaner. It gives plenty of overhead space. But that's all I really needed. I just need to be able to make a single stair to go over the door over here. Did I grab my doors? I did. Perfect. I'm gonna do one of those. And we're gonna orient our door so that zombies can't break it because they think that's open. Just because I don't want to have to replace my doors repeatedly. I did turn mob griefing off, actually, so I think that does stop them from breaking them. I just don't want Endermen to ruin the countryside, pulling every dirt block they can get their hands on. So, let's see. I used all but one jungle sapling getting to this point, so I need to do some more jungle tree grinding so I can start building the rest of the framework going up for the next story. But that's where we're at so far. I'll come back when we've got another update on the house, or if anything else interesting happens in the meantime. Alright, we've got our second story thrown on now. Again, no detailing yet. I'm just trying to get the structure itself in place, and then I'll go through and add details later. I've left this open. We're going to put a little balcony cover roof coming off for that. Left a couple blocks lying around here. And then we're actually going to build another balcony that doesn't have lower structure with just like some, you know, some posts holding it up. Probably like a cobblestone block, cobblestone wall into a fence, basically acting as like a gradually thinning support that's going to come out for a little balcony over here. We're going to have stairs come down this way, I think, kind of cut across the front of the build. They're going to be the main entryway onto that floor. That's what I'm going to start working on here in a minute, but we're kind of perpetually grinding for more materials as we go here. This floor up here currently just looks about like this. So, nothing too terribly difficult. We've got our spiral staircase kind of coming up here. This is actually going to go up past the height of the rest of the roof, and then expand out into a small tower room, where I think we're going to put our enchanting room in the future. So it'll kind of be at the top of a tower up here, above the height of the rest of the house. But it'll also act as kind of the between point for all of our upstairs travel. So that is where we're at. I know that for a lot of the detailing that I want to do, I'm going to need either spruce or dark oak. I think that spruce is going to play best with the jungle wood and oak. So in a minute here, I'm actually going to run off to find where I can get some spruce wood. Figure out what the closest point's going to be. And then once I've got some spruce wood, we'll be ready to start getting some details onto that floor. I've also collected a bit of andesite. Some of it I'm going to turn into polished andesite, some of it I'm going to leave as it is. And then I've got to cook some cobblestone into smooth stone and get some stone bricks crafted so that I can kind of break up and vary this bottom floor as well. So, we've got a lot of work to do, but the vision is starting to come together a little bit. And the mobs are still in the caves below. At some point I'm going to have to go through and fight some mobs and clear out some space. Hey, there's more andesite. And of course, just take this entire area and start digging it down to look like a proper quarry. I also noticed there's a strip of calcite going right up the mountain back there in the background. So at some point I'll probably grab that to do some texturing in with some diorite and some birch, because they're very close kind of color tones. It would be nice if I could grab some pale oak too, actually, while I'm thinking about it. So we've got an idea, we've got a direction, I know roughly where I'm working, and I'll bring you guys back in when I've got a little bit more of an update. Alright, for a lot of the detailing that I want to do, we are going to need, ideally, dark oak and spruce. And I believe, like I said, they're out this way. So we're going to take today, fresh day, fresh start, and we're just going to head out and grab a little bit of that if we can reach it. Should be able to. Like I said, I don't think it's too terribly far out, if I recall correctly from briefly exploring around, and I believe there may even be Pale Garden close by too. And I'd much rather try and get pale oak saplings during the day than at night. Got some dense woodland here. And then there should be jungle past that, because we are just surrounded by jungle right now. Fortunately, we're just off 0-0. I think we're at like negative 150, 150 roundabout. So, if we head back to 0-0, spawn was at like negative 3-8 or something like that. It's pretty easy to find our way back. And there, you know what? Already can see the spruce. So that's a good sign. We basically just have to travel through to the other side of the jungle here. What's that over there? Just some cave. Okay. That said, we don't want to be out terribly late here. Not a... Yeah, it's not a cave that I care to go into right now. Was hoping there might be dripstone visible or something, but no such luck. It's always weird traversing jungles, though. Get a lot of mixed verticality. Already got some melon seeds, not too terribly worried about that. Oh yeah, here we go. There's dark oak, pale oak, and spruce. Perfect. And actually, I think right over there, hold on, let's see if we can get a good view. Yeah, right up there. So there's that mountain range, and it rings around, and there's a little valley inside where it's surrounded by spruce, and then it just has a pale garden section that's almost perfectly circular. Eventually, we're going to move in there. For now, we're just going to quickly kind of get a couple saplings and get out. As much as possible, I'd like to stick to treetop. Do not need the complications of... Oh, and we're springing back a little bit. Alright. There's 3, one more, and I'll be happy. It's not true, I'm never happy. Never be satisfied. There we go. Now I need 4 I already have jungle. 4 dark oak. Again, we're just going to stick to the roof, or the treetops here. And I just got to cut across. I think that's going to be the closest spruce. Let's go ahead and do this. One, 2, 3. 4. Perfect. And as much as possible, I'd like to stick to the treetops, avoid having to cut through the low ground below. And it's one good thing about dark oak and jungles is that it's really easy to not touch the ground if you don't want to. Yeah, no matter what, I'm going to have to cut through some pale garden. It's fine. And the way back will probably be mostly ground level, which is, again, fine. Not ideal. Ooh, lush cave. Ooh la la. Okay. Yeah, I hear skeletons. We're gonna have to come back through here later to get some of that stuff. Alright, let's cut up. Clean and direct of a path as possible. I want to be in and out before nightfall. I have no interest in being here after dark. Yeah, I see what you are. Okay. Just need one. Not even worried about the wood. I don't want to waste any extra time. There we go. It'd be nice if I could get two. I'd appreciate... Ah, there we go. Oop. Eating means you can sprint. Wow. Who would have thunk it? I just need to get back that way. Like I said, as much as possible without touching the ground, because way too easy for mobs to spawn in most of this. Though it looks like we're starting to run out of choice here. That's fine. No, nothing close enough to grab. I will be coming back, though, for some moss to get some building done with that nice lush moss color. Mix it in with regular grass, do some yard care work. Ooh, little lag spike there. Okay. Cover the question. And it's just back up over that hill, so... Oh, thank God, I cleared it. Thought I would, but man, can never be too sure. And I'm sure I heard a grunt drowned. We're gonna get out of here. Okay, let's grab some dirt. Just get out of here. Slow down. There we go. Anyways, that gets us the remaining building materials that I really want. I know that within, like I said, about 1,000 in any direction of spawn, I could get all the wood types. The only ones that I'm missing for the overworld right now are going to be the acacia and cherry and mangrove. Don't remember where the mangrove is. That one I've got to do a little reminder on. I'll probably hop back into the creative version I have of this seed just to double check. But it's not as pressing as getting the dark oak and spruce were, because those two I'm going to build with a lot. So with those in hand, we should be able to get a lot of the details I want to get done taken care of as well. The only other thing is getting, oh man, just in time too, one solid day trip. The only other thing that I really want to take care of is getting Ooh, cannot remember for the life of me. That's right. Getting an iron farm going. I need to get some villagers, which means I need to find what the nearest village is, so that I can start getting some chain so I can make hanging signs, because I think hanging signs are going to look really good for some railings I want to do. And really just amplified some of the build here. But that can wait. And in fact, most everything is going to wait, because I am about out of time for the day today. So let's just get some space cleared to add our new wood types. Kind of continue off in this general direction. We're going to need some space for some large trees. There we go. And then let's get some trees going. We'll do one of those. One of those. We're going to do 3 of these. Space 1, 2, 3 there. And there. There we go. On the bees front, so far, no luck, but we're gonna keep hoping, keep planting. But, you know, some pretty solid progress. We've got a wood farm. We've got the first bit of the house, at least structurally, in place. So I think this is a pretty good place to call it. So, thank you so much for joining me on this little adventure, and hopefully, pretty soon here, we'll have our house up and running, and we'll get into some of the meat of the game. Anyways, I will see you next time. Thank you so much.